Well guys, surprise, Titan Quest 2 just shadow dropped. You can play it in early access right now. But the big question is, should you? Well, if you haven't been following the game, you haven't been following updates, and you feel like you're kind of in the dark, no worries, I've got you covered. That's what this video is here for. So whether you're completely new or just honestly haven't kept up, because there's so many things happening in the gaming scene, this is your one-stop guide to everything you need to know before diving into this world. So one, what is Titan Quest 2? Titan Quest 2 is an action RPG set in a mythological version of ancient Greece. The story centers around Nemesis, the goddess of retribution, who's throwing the entire world into chaos by corrupting the threads of fate itself. You play as a mortal hero, tasked with fighting back against divine and monstrous forces alike. Expect lush forests, sun-baked ruins, cursed islands, epic showdowns, and a lot of crabs at the very beginning of the game. I'm talking tons of crabs. But crabs aren't the only thing you see at the beginning of the game. When you first start out, you meet up with a hunter of legend. She takes you to a shrine and you get your first mastery, which we'll talk about here in a moment. From there, you're tasked with going and eliminating a griffin that has been absolutely terrorizing the countryside. So that's what you're looking forward to. That's sort of the tutorial, and that's going to introduce you to the game. But let's talk about some of the combat and exploration. So combat in Titan Quest 2 is faster and more tactical than the original. Enemies are now part of factions and will work together intelligently, meaning you'll have casters buffing warriors, archers flanking while tanks engage, and you'll need to manage your dodges to avoid incoming attacks. You'll want to manage your barrier to protect yourself against hits, land abilities with precision, and think a few steps ahead. This is not going to be a zoom type of action RPG. Instead, it's going to probably land somewhere between Diablo 4 and No Rest for the Wicked. That's sort of where I imagine this thing landing. Now, when it comes to exploration, everything is handcrafted. There's no more procedural maps. Each area has its secrets, verticality, and dense detail. They wanted to make sure the world felt alive, it felt realistic, and boy, do they hit it. So you'll need to find shortcuts, hidden chambers, and divine shrines that reveal new zones when activated. Keep your eyes peeled because there's a lot of puzzles and things that are hidden away, especially in the early part of the game. I was able to open up a chest and my entire screen filled with loot, which gets to one of the problems. I didn't have enough inventory space and I had to sit there for like 10 minutes sorting through, finding the things I actually wanted to carry and what I wanted to sell, all of that fun stuff. But the loot nonetheless was awesome. So one of the pillars of Titan Quest is its dual mastery system, and it's back with upgrades. You get to choose between two skill trees called masteries. Now, in early access, the masteries we have access to are Storm, Warfare, Earth, and Rogue. You can mix them, and that kind of defines your class, whether it's a fire-wielding assassin or a lightning-powered tank. Each mastery has its own set of active skills and passives, but there is a twist. Titan Quest 2 introduces skill modifiers. These are enhancements that change how the skill behaves, and these are, think of like Path of Exile when you slot in gems, right? Skill gems. You put the gem in, then you put all the modifier gems, and it changes how that skill performs. This is the same thing, just no gems. You unlock a skill. As you invest more points into that skill, you're able to slot more and more modifiers, making it behave differently and also increasing its effectiveness. For instance, you might turn a single target strike into a small AoE, or add a debuff to a movement skill, or add healing to your barrier skill. There's a lot of different ways that you can go about it, and the thing is, if you mess up your build, don't worry. There are in-game ways that allow you to respec your skills, get your points back, and change the way you play. Next, let's talk about a core foundational thing when it comes to isometric action RPGs, and that's loot. Now, when it comes to loot, Titan Quest 2 is filthy with it. Every rarity of the rainbow drops in this game. You have whites to legendary items dropping from normal minions to bosses. But there's more than just gear drops here. You can craft and modify items using affixes, which are stat boosting properties for those of you who are new to the genre. If you find an axe that you love, you can craft fire damage onto it, boost its attack speed, make it have an impact or shockwave when it makes contact with something. There's a lot of different ways that you can change these things. And according to Titan Quest II's website, you can take a basic thing and end up making it a unique weapon of your own, truly fit for you as a player. Now, the game also emphasizes utility and synergy. You want to make sure to invest in things like resistances, cooldown reduction, movement speed, and then unique item effects all play a big role in endgame viability and understanding how far you're going to be able to go into the game. Because this is more difficult through combat, slower paced, and things hitting harder, resistances are going to be key. That little plus 15 pierce resistance on that ring that you found might be the difference between dying during a boss fight and surviving. So make sure to build your defense first and then build your offense to match it. So let's talk about multiplayer and rituals, because I think these are going to be two big things that people want to make sure they know a little bit more about. One, multiplayer. You can play the entire game solo if you want. You even have solo self-found if you want to play that way. But Titan Quest II also supports online co-op for friends or public matchmaking. Multiplayer offers shared loot, harder encounters, and combo strategies between players. Now, the one thing is, I'm curious to see how far along this system is in early access. I'm not entirely sure of its stability, but we'll see more once we get in there and actually start getting some groups together. And then there are rituals. These allow you to perform magical tasks, things like respecs, alter the difficulty of your game, invoking divine favors to shift gameplay. It's a system meant to give you more control over how you engage with Titan Quest II as a whole. They call them rituals. To me, it just seems like server admin settings type of thing or gameplay settings, but we'll stick with the theme rituals it is. So let's talk about some early access highlights and community feedback that we've seen over the past year. Because we've been able to get into demos and playtests and things like that, everyone seems to really like what they're seeing, that it's a strong foundation. Now for me, I got early access to the game. I've been playing for 48 hours, so not a ton. But from my short time with both the playtest as well as this 1.0 patch, I've been having a lot of fun. It's definitely slower and more challenging than other ARPGs on the market, but that's also a theme that's carried over from the original. Titan Quest I was not a walk in the park back in 2006, and Titan Quest II aims to require the same level of thoughtfulness, skill, and patience this time around. I put together a Fire Earth Rogue that specializes in dishing out fire fissures for AoE clear, and a Poison Dagger skill for single target to try to deal some big damage, provide debuffs, do those type of things. And even then, I'm having to kind of be more tactical and churn through my skills multiple times to take out some of the elite enemies. So please don't go into this thinking it's going to be like a Path of Exile 2, Torchlight Infinite, Last Epoch. It's going to be its own thing. Like I mentioned earlier, it's going to be a balance between Diablo 4 and No Rest for the Wicked. So get your mindset right and just know that's what you're going to be looking at. So here's a couple pieces of advice for those of you who are jumping in to start fresh. One, go with something simple early on. Storm plus Warfare gives you really good ranged burst plus melee control and allows you to do both range damage and tackle enemies that manage to get up close and personal with you. Storm plus Warfare, give that a shot. Number 2, don't spend all of your skill points right away. Save a few in case your early choices don't synergize. That way you can try something new and then you can refresh, especially when it comes to respecking, because it does cost gold and you don't want to dump a bunch of gold into respecking. Just save a few, be okay with it. Number 3, start crafting as early as you can, because affix modifiers can turn basic gear into absolutely lifesavers. So be aware of that. Number 4, don't be afraid to respec. It is a gold sink, yes, but sometimes you have to have a little bit of short-term pain for long-term gain, so make sure to respec if you absolutely need to. The earlier you are, the cheaper it is to respec, so get in there, experiment, go that route. And then lastly, finally, learn all the enemy patterns, because bosses hit incredibly hard, and if you don't know what you're going to be up against, it makes it very difficult to beat those, including the tutorial boss, the Griffin, because the Griffin applies bleeds and does a ton of slam damage, so get ready for that. Coordinating dodges and barriers can save your life. So if Titan Quest 2 looks like your kind of game, make sure to go check it out on Steam. If you want more content like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Come back next time. I'll have more Titan Quest 2 information for you guys. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been Vulkan, and I'll talk to you guys next time.